overwhelmed by the news or think, why should I care? It's not going to change anything. Well, think again. I'm Natalie Bencivenga, and I'm back with another opportunity for you to dare to care. This show hopes to inspire so that we can see the connections between issues impacting our communities and find ways to make a difference. My latest guest is here to discuss menstrual equity. And if you haven't heard that term before, you're not alone. So stay tuned. You might be surprised by just how much it matters. All right, I am here with the founder of Sisterfriend, Tamara Abney, and we're going to be talking all things menstrual equity and why we are daring people to care about this topic. Let's just dive right in. When we're talking about menstrual equity, what does that even mean?
Yeah, so menstrual equity was a term that was coined by a good friend of mine and of Sisterfriend, my organization, is Jennifer Wise Wolf. She
Mhm.
first mentioned the word menstrual equity or the words menstrual equity in her book, Periods Gone Public. And what she really tried to do was encompass the idea that menstruation was connected to equality, really focusing on, product distribution, but sanitation, workplace practices, discriminatory practices, everything that may be related to a menstruating person.
This is one of those topics that I think people go, "Oh, I don't want to talk about that." So, how do you normalize these conversations with people who don't even menstruate?
Yeah, I think it's really just making it relatable. Most people have been around someone that menstruates, so it's not a foreign topic. It's just something that we have been conditioned to think of as unsexy. So if we just think of it as a biological process, which it is, and a normal part of life, then it helps to destigmatize talking about it in general.
Why is destigmatization so important when we're discussing equity around menstruation?
Being able to destigmatize menstruation is so important because it really helps people to feel confident about their bodies and the changes that are happening. If we continue to stigmatize something, then all of a sudden you feel ashamed. You
Mhm.
feel like, is something wrong with me? I can't ask for the resources I may need because I'm embarrassed. And this is especially important when we're thinking about our young students. If there's stigma around it, are they going to be ashamed to ask a teacher for a pad or a tampon? Are they going to be ashamed to go to the nurse's office? Are they going to be ashamed to ask a friend? Or are they going to understand what's going on with their body in general, and get that correct information that they may need? Because if we stigmatize it, it probably means that we're not educating on it. So all of those things go hand in hand.
Yeah, and what I always find interesting about this issue is how it really does intersect with racial justice, with gender justice, and of course with economic justice. Can you talk a little bit more about how all of those things intertwine?
If we think about just the sheer economics of it,
Mhm.
pads and tampons cost money.
Yeah.
And in some states, they're taxed. In
Mhm.
Pennsylvania, they're not taxed. So we're happy about that. And
Mhm.
when people are thinking about, can I afford to keep my lights on or do I buy pads and tampons? It's sometimes it's a very hard choice. And they're resorting to rags or toilet paper or, paper towel or other means. So that's important. We get called all the time from school districts that are considered wealthy. And the students are calling because the school district hasn't budgeted to put free products into the restrooms. So you still have people that need it, even though they may not be economically disadvantaged. Or, the school district is assuming because people may be come from wealth, that they would just bring these products from home. They're not thinking that it's something that should be accessible to them, just like toilet paper or paper towel or hand soap. It is literally a tool to take care of your body.
So, why did you dare to care so much about this issue? So much so that you started a foundation around it, an organization.
Yeah. When I started my organization, Sister Friend, in 2015, it was just simply like, this isn't fair.
Mhm. Right, right.
It was just a very simple idea of what? People don't have pads and tampons? I never thought about that, but I'm going to do something about that because it didn't make sense to me.
Mhm.
Something very simple,
Mhm.
something that for the most part doesn't cost that much,
Right.
wasn't being provided to the people that need it. And when I'm very big on like the power of one, like it can be one person that has an idea that can make a difference. So I
Mhm.
thought to myself, could I do something about this? And I wasn't trying to cure cancer or do brain surgery. I was like, I just want to give people pads and tampons. Simple enough. So that is what really sparked it, just saying it's unfair and people deserve to manage their periods with dignity and respect and not have to resort to using things that could be harmful to their body.
You had mentioned about taxes earlier, and I
Mhm.
think this is a really interesting point. It's called a pink tax, and Pennsylvania doesn't have one. Can you explain what the pink tax is, and is it a good thing that PA doesn't have a pink tax?
100%. It's a great thing that PA doesn't have it. So whether you call it pink tax, luxury tax, there's a lot of words for the same kind of terminology. It's basically a tax on what people are considering necessary items and unnecessary items or luxury items. And many states have a luxury tax on menstrual products. I didn't know it was a luxury. I mean, it's a luxury
Who
being a
knew?
woman and being able to do things, but having a period isn't necessarily what I would consider like a luxury to my life. Really, the pink tax fundamentally is saying because we are marketing to a woman and your product, your razor's pink, we're going to charge you more for that razor. That pink razor is going to cost you more than the black razor. It's the exact same razor, people, but just because it is marketed to a woman or to a female, whatever you want to say, it is going to cost you more. So that is unfair.
Mhm.
It's not definitely not equitable.
Mhm.
And people are fighting against that across the country. And actually, people are making changes. I mean, once it's kind of like the bill is introduced and people realize that it's ridiculous, then they are starting to strip away the tax.
Which is really exciting to hear that people are, taking the opportunity when they see what's going on to make actionable change. And let's go back to some more legislation because there is something though that's happening right here in Pennsylvania. It's House Bill 850 in the PA Senate, and it's focused on accessibility to menstrual product. Can you talk about what this bill is, what it means, and what it could do?
They would request a waiver or US agriculture for menstrual products. And I believe also diapers. So what all of this means is that currently WIC and SNAP do
Mhm.
not cover menstrual products. They don't cover diapers either.
Wow.
So if someone is on the food assistance program or on WIC, they can't use their card to purchase menstrual items.
Okay.
So if this changes at the federal level, then Pennsylvania, if this is passed, Pennsylvania would be required to ask for a waiver so it could be implemented here in Pennsylvania.
So
So
just to clarify, it has to go to the federal level for there to be an impact here at the state level, assuming it were to pass here.
correct.
Okay.
So this is why it's super important to advocate on all different levels. So the federal government will impact the state government, right? State government impacts local government. So you really have to be active at all different levels because they all will really intersect with each other. So in order, we could pass this bill in Pennsylvania and we'll be ready to go. Like if it works out at the federal level, Pennsylvania will be one of the first people in line. But we have to make sure that the Department of Agriculture realizes that this is important and something that they should be budgeting for and something that they need to implement in order for it to make an impact here in Pennsylvania.
What are some things happening in other states that you think could be interesting if we were to bring them here to Pennsylvania?
Yeah, there's a number of different things. I mean, just to throw out a couple of different states, like I know New York was on the forefront of this,
Mhm.
and they have, whether it's free menstrual products within their correctional facilities, the ability to ensure that public schools have access to free menstrual products. All of those things can be implemented here in Pennsylvania. And the nice thing is, Natalie, that we do have lawmakers in Harrisburg that are advocating for this, that are introducing bills that would support, menstrual education, that would support putting menstrual products into our public schools and into our universities. So we are taking steps to do a lot of these really wonderful things that the other states are doing. So we should be commended for that. So we're really ready, just to keep going and to keep pushing forward.
Why do you think there is a little bit more energy around daring to care at a policy level focusing on menstruation?
Well, I think there's just momentum now. Whenever a lot of us started advocating for menstrual equity or, just menstrual rights in general, menstrual poverty probably it was called then. In 2015, it was like a wave. I started Sisterfriend, Jennifer started her, Peers Gone Public work. And so a lot of people just across the country took this on separately, not knowing each other, took on this idea of, we need to do something about providing menstrual products to people. So I think through the years, almost 9, now we have just collectively been able to pull our resources together, make impact within our local communities, have conferences, partner up with larger organizations such as like Always or Walmart, recognizing period heroes, which I was the 2022 one for Pennsylvania. So being able to just draw attention to the work, super important. In my years, I've even hosted lawmakers just to kind of talk about the work that they're doing. So the more that we're able to communicate with them and stress the importance and what this can do to the local community in the state, in the country, and globally, then I think they're starting to realize oh, this is a serious issue. And honestly, once you start talking to people about it, people get it. It's really not a crazy concept that people should have access to affordable and safe menstrual products.
So let's circle back then. We started at the top of the interview talking a little bit about your work with Sisterfriend, but can you share more about the organization and where you've been and where you hope to take it?
Yeah, so as I stated, Sisterfriend was started in 2015, in my apartment with a group of friends. And over the years, we have grown to, moving thankfully out of my apartment and into a storage. And we have distributed over 500,000 pads and tampons, bras and panties to not only the local community, but, internationally. During our time, we have done educational seminars for young people, really teaching them how to be confident with their bodies and how menstruation works, because they're not getting, a lot of people are not getting that education in their health classes, or it's being skimmed over. So we developed curriculum that really dives into, this is what's going on. This is how to use a tampon. These are the parts of your body. So that they wouldn't be scared when they have their first period, or if they're a little bit older and already have their period, how do they practice self-care during that time of month? So those are super important things. We partner with the University of Pittsburgh to work on, we had a little mini documentary. And just through the years, really developing relationships with not only the local organizations that may need our products, but trying to partner with organizations across the country to make sure that we are aligning our work and using each other as a resource. So moving forward into the future, Sisterfriend is really focused on advocacy. So doing more of this, having more of these conversations, bringing up issues and topics that's important, and also education. So how can we, take our curriculum and take it to the next level? How can we add things onto our website so that there is not a barrier? You can learn about, your period without having to go to health class. at least, a little snippet, because that's how real change happens. We want policies to be changed. We want people to change their attitudes and how they think about things. So to me, how can we take the work that we've been doing for years and take it to the next level so that we can leave a legacy of change? That's where we're at right now.
I am so happy that you decided to dare to care about this issue and you've made such a ripple effect. If people want to learn more about Sisterfriend or want to get involved, where can they go?
Sure, they can visit our website at www.sisterfriend.org. All the information about our work is there. If you want educational videos, if you want to learn how to advocate, all of that is at your fingertips at our website. Thank you so much for joining me for this month's Dare to Care. Do you have an issue that matters to you and you think that more people should care about? Let's connect. Find me on social media at Natalie Bencivenga, or you can email me at admin@nataliebencivenga.com. I dare you.